Yes, Karthik, you may go start.
All right. So, hello everyone. My name is Karthik, co-founder of GSEO.
Hi guys, I'm Utcher, founder of GSEO.
And hey guys, I guess my name is Nolan. I'm a Stanford junior majoring in aerospace engineering right now.
Okay. So today, GSEO, we have the pleasure of interviewing Nolan. So he's majoring in aerospace engineering at Stanford, and he has gained hands-on experience in building an RC turbine jet engine and designing a wireless HVADEC system. So now we'll learn in detail about what the work he has done.
All right, so first up, we will be asking you more about your university applications. So yes, you applied to Stanford, and of course, Stanford is one of the best university in the world, let alone in US, of course. So was there any like driving factor behind your decision to apply and attend Stanford?
Yeah, so actually in middle school when my school hosted a field trip to California and I went there with a small group and we all visited Stanford, and one of the main things that I heard about Stanford was that it was one of the hardest schools to get into. And ever since seventh grade and beyond, I was really fixated on getting into Stanford just for the sole reason that it was a big challenge. And I think
Oh,
like my upbringing was always kind of like trying to find the next big challenge or the big task to tackle, just to like test myself and to show to myself that I can do it.
all right, that sounds great. And Stanford is famously known as providing or fostering the environment that grows entrepreneurs, I believe. So, how has your university life or how has the university environment have been like for you to really foster your growth as entrepreneur and perhaps as an engineer?
Yeah, at Stanford, I mean, as you can like tell from many people and just from like the sheer amount of startups that come out of the Valley and
Yeah,
the
exactly.
amount of founders that come out of Stanford, you can tell that the community itself fosters a lot of entrepreneurship. And it's almost embedded in every sense of life at Stanford in almost every major. I remember when I was getting interviewed for Stanford itself, one of my interviewees told me that, if you're not starting a startup or didn't attempt to start a startup while you're at Stanford, you missed out on the Stanford experience. So, and I could talk about this a little bit more in depth, but basically at like Stanford, there's a lot of resources that offer a lot of help. And I'm sorry, is it echoing because of me right now?
No, it's not. You're sounding
Because
perfect.
because I'm getting a lot of echo on my end, but it may just I don't know. But yeah, so at Stanford, there's a lot of classes, and RGSP is very big. It produces like Knight Hennessy scholars and whatnot, but the classes at the GSP are also open to the undergraduate students. So it allows a lot of us to get a taste on like this very professional and like well kept secrets of like how businesses are ran, case studies of various businesses. And it allows us to get a better understanding of how to strategically plan and strategically move, starting a startup or starting a company or just moving in life in general.
All right, sounds great. And just to let you know, this Riverside website will locally find your quality of both audio and video, so you might not need to worry much about it. It will be automatically upscaled, and the final result will be great.
Okay.
Okay, right. So yes, um, next up, while I was exploring your website and your LinkedIn, I was able to find that you switched your major from bio to aerospace engineering. Could you tell us more about why you switched it and what was so hard about switching? Can you share more about your experience of switching your major?
Yeah, I just want to first touch up on like I have the ability at Stanford to switch my majors. You have the ability when you go to Stanford, you're not slotted to choose a major or declare a major in your first 2 years at Stanford. And this allows you to explore plethora of various classes. So you can, you know, what I did, I originally came in as aerospace engineering, then kind of wanted to double dabble in computer science. Then I was really intrigued by electrical engineering, so I took coursework in that. And then that's when I finally decided that I wanted to try neurobiology. And it stuck for a little bit. It stuck my freshman year all the way to the beginning of my sophomore year. And it interested me so much that I even got a lab position at a Stanford med lab. And it was Snyder, and they focused mainly on genetics and oncology research, and that was kind of like my main focus for a couple of quarters. But the reason why I switched was because when I was working research at the oncology lab at Snyder, a lot of the work dealt with the microscopic in a way where a lot of the changes I couldn't really see unless I did a whole bunch of like assays and some more work on
Okay.
the experiments and whatnot to be able to image it. But then I think for me, I kind of like that engineering mindset of being able to rapidly iterate, and not only rapidly iterate, but seeing the iterations physically and like where tangibly, where you can like see it happening in real time. So then I decided to take another jump after spending so many classworks or so many quarters trying to major in neurobio. I decided to finally take the final leap in the final quarter of my sophomore year to kind of take some aerospace engineering classes. And that was when I really fell in love with that. But to answer one of your questions, why was it so hard for me to kind of switch that major? Stanford does allow you to take a lot of classes, which allows you to kind of hone in on what you really want to do. But then, just like with any university, any college, the more time you try to go down one path, your other doors slowly start to close. Because I tried specifying so much in biology and neurobiology, I'm kind of behind now a little bit on my aerospace engineering coursework. So then now it's going to require me a little bit more time and maybe an extra quarter to finish out that major. But now, because I did everything and tried to pursue everything I was interested in, now that I chose aerospace engineering, I know I'm really passionate and really interested in that, and that I kind of, check the boxes for everything else.
Oh, all right, sounds perfect. And just to reiterate your like answers, because in the beginning of your answers, I found it very interesting that first year at Stanford they don't have major, and second year they can choose their major. They can deepen their interest. Am I right about it?
Yeah, so with your coursework, you're of course taking fundamental classes first for like chemistry, biology, engineering, or whatever. Like I had to take my physics, chemistry, bio, and math courses because I was doing bio. But some of those courses are also generalized to engineering coursework. You can still declare a major your freshman year if you really know what you want to do. But then you could take first your basic coursework and then start to slowly specify. Like I could take an introduction to aerospace aeronautical engineering. I could take an introduction or a seminar to neuroscience. I could take a introduction to electrical engineering. Like there's a lot of intro classes that you can take that are very broad in subject, and then from there you could choose to specialize and then major.
Oh wow, yes. Thank you for that. Yes. Next question. How has your involvement in university labs and startups completed your formal education at Stanford?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that question, please?
How has your involvement in university labs and startups complemented your formal education at Stanford?
How has my lab experience at Stanford done what with my past experience?
Yeah, right.
Like, what has it done for my past experience?
So
Or like,
basically, I
what
was
was
able
my
to find.
experience like with my lab? Is that the question? I'm sorry. I just
Yes,
want to
can
make
you
sure.
reiterate what you said? Can you say it again?
Was the question that what was my past lab experience like at Stanford?
Yeah, basically that. And because from your LinkedIn, I was able to find that you were involved in university labs and some other startups. And yes, we're asking if those involvement and experience helped your formal education at Stanford.
Yeah. So I'm sorry. What do you mean about like my former education, like my high school education?
So your studies at Stanford in general.
Okay. Um, I don't know if I followed the question correctly, but please like jump in and kind of guide me. But I just want to answer the answer. So I'm guessing what you're asking me, what has been my past experience like at Stanford for like labs, right?
Yeah, basically something like that. Like your
Yeah,
experience
so
at university lab.
yeah, so at University Lab, it's actually really amazing. But I guess I could talk about that a little bit more. There is a big discrepancy between graduate students, postdocs, labs, and undergraduate students in the sense that labs are always looking for new undergraduates to help them with research, but it's really hard for these grad students, these postdocs, to kind of post job 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 applications for these undergraduates and to like find these passionate undergraduates that fit their specific needs. So let's say I'm a lab and I'm doing research on, thyroid cancer. It's really hard to find that person in university that's really passionate or really likes thyroid cancer cell research. So then it's hard for me to get connected with them. So the first part that I'm trying to explain is that it's really hard for labs to be connected with undergraduate students. But then once they are connected, they're very open to giving these undergraduate students the opportunities for research and for experience. And that was kind of the case for me because originally I didn't really have any lab experience back in high school, so I didn't really know how to reach out or kind of put myself out there. But my friend Ty originally was working at the lab that I ended up working at, and he was able to advocate for me. And Tristan was the lab professional, research professional at the time, and he was able to help me, mentor me when I became a part of the lab. And it's just a very fostering community. I can't say the same for other labs or for other universities, but at least for Stanford and at Snyder, working under Tristan, it was like a one-on-one crash course of like everything biology and chemistry. So it was a really cool experience.
All right, thank you so much for your answer. And Karthik, do you have any questions regarding his university section?
No.